Good morning, everyone. We have the Kiwi USD buy signal. It's based on the bubble deviation, as you are aware, and it's qualified because the New Zealand dollar is now, well, it's strong buy, but it's actually deviated away from the dollar. I probably just need to talk about the logic for the signal. It did trigger because we are risk on, and we know that we're risk on from the dashboard. Okay, so we're green. And so that's obviously buy risk and sell safe havens. Okay, so it comes through because it agrees with the fundamentals. That's the fundamental check. It's like a safety measure. So that's the deviation across time. So that's great. My only concern is perhaps the location of the stop loss cluster. If we look at the Kiwi USD, 7025, and it's large as well, and it is a possibility that we're going to come and get it and we could reverse. It's quite close. It looks like it's going to retrace, so I wanted to tell you what you could potentially do. It's up to you, but I use well, I've just recently started using the super trend, and so you can see how we can use it for stop loss placement. We break this super trend, and it's going to be it's going to be a pretty quite bearish, be a sell. So you could have your stop loss placement at 69.89. So it's not too bad from it's not that wide a stop. You could wait till it gets closer, and then your stop would be tighter. So use the 15-minute and the super trend indicator. You don't have to use the volume profile, but by having the volume profile, we know that we're bullish above the park, which is the point of control. And so if you were looking for places to have your stop loss, you could use the super trend indicator. It's just an idea, or you could use the daily pivot or weekly pivots or anything like that. So we are holding on to 0.7, and we're doing quite well. We're up 0.57 on the day. So hopefully that's helpful with the stop loss placement. And I briefly talked about the logic there. It qualifies for a buy because we're risk on according to our dashboard. And we won't get any yen signals because that's going against the fundamental. If the yen comes down, we're going to come into a strong buy. Now, if the stocks are rallying and the yen is strengthening, there's something not quite right because the yen is a safe haven. So we wouldn't get a yen cross this week, at least at this rate. The yen needs to come over here in a strong sell, and then we can get some signals from that. So we might get some dollar potentially, and we won't get any yen. So that's the logic there. So hopefully that's clear. So that's the only one we got current, and hopefully you understand how it works. There are other checks in place. It's whether or not it checks if it's a buy at a high level and whether or not the bubbles have moved. It also checks whether or not we're extreme. We want to try and avoid the extreme parameters, and it checks the fundamentals. So there's risk on. So that's that. So there's a Kiwi USD, it's a buy. The Euro Kiwi is a sell, but we don't cover that in the setup, in the QuasiDB setup. Pound Swiss is a sell, CAD Swiss is a sell. So these all qualify for, they would be legit, valid signals, but we don't cover the exotic ones. So that's that. So it's like a two-part video, just going over the logic of the NU, and also with the placement for the stop loss. If you wanted to, you can use a super trend on the 15-minute. And it's not like going to be a massive deal if you get stopped out. It's what's that? It's 20 pips. And if you have a tiny size, it shouldn't be too bad. You could potentially put the Heikin-Ashi on as well. You wouldn't enter with bearish Heikin-Ashi candles. You'd wait for price to reverse, and then you'd have a green Heikin-Ashi, and then you'd enter. But currently, you wouldn't buy because we've got red candles. So you wait for the green, how that is stop loss, and away you go. So just have a quick look at the search tool. And yeah, so technically, oh, that's not right. There's something wrong with the data. But the sentiment is a buy. I'll just fix that quickly on the video, and then I'll just wrap up. So we've got a bit of data issue, which is a bit frustrating, but that's that. We can fix this there. Error loading data. So that's kind of annoying. Oh, there we go. So we can go back to the search tool, and then we can see how we are. Yeah, we are technically good and sentimentally good. And lots of shorts as well, which they're going to get squeezed, and the bulls and the bears are not profiting, which is good. And that's that. So I did say I was going to look at Aussie, which I can do quickly. Let's have a quick look at Aussie. And there's your monthly pivot. So I wouldn't enter unless we're above 74.10. And so we are a little way away. And then you'd probably wait for an hourly candle, or you could wait for a Heikin-Ashi candle above. But remember, when we go above monthly pivot, you've got that liquidity zone, which it could reverse. And I've got a feeling Kiwi might do the same. So we do have to be careful, and it's very close and it's large. So hopefully it helps. Just a two-part video about the logic on the bubbles, and we've got a new safety check in place, which is very handy because it keeps us in check, and it helps us remind ourselves that we are risk on, and so we don't want to fight the fundamental flows. And the two-parter is the stop loss placement using the super trend, which it's got potential. And then you could possibly wait for the Heikin-Ashi candle to turn green. And then, you've got technicals and sentimental as well. And that's it. So have a good day, you guys. I think we've got quite a busy calendar this week, and we definitely got a very busy end of the week as well. So trade safely and use your small sizes if possible, and then it doesn't really matter too much when you get stopped out, and you just move on. So that's that. Yeah, have a good day, and I'll speak to you guys soon.